Pick up a banana. Feel the weight of it. It is the most ordinary thing in your kitchen. It is also one of the strangest objects on the planet, and almost nobody knows why. Start with something simple. Cut a banana open and look for the seeds. You will not find any. Just a few tiny brown specks that lead nowhere. A wild banana is packed with hard black seeds, so many that there is barely any fruit to eat. The banana, you know, has none. It cannot make seeds. It cannot reproduce. It is, in the most literal sense, sterile. So how do you grow a fruit that cannot make more of itself? You do not grow it from a seed. You cut a piece off the parent plant and you plant that. The new banana is not the child of the old one. It is a copy, a clone. And here is the part that should stop you cold. Almost every banana sold for export on Earth is the same single variety, called the Cavendish. They are not just similar, they are genetically nearly identical. When you eat a banana in Tokyo and someone eats one in London and another in New York, you are all eating pieces of what is essentially one plant, copied billions of times and stretched across 6 continents. This is not an accident of nature. It is a decision. The banana in your hand was engineered over more than a century to be one thing above all others: shippable. Think about what a fruit company needs. A fruit that ripens slowly on the boat, a thick peel that survives bruising, bunches that pack tightly into a crate, a plant that fruits all year with no season. The Cavendish delivers every one of those. It is picked green, shipped cold, and finished in rooms full of ripening gas so that it turns yellow at the exact moment it reaches the shelf. The cheerful yellow fruit that looks like a gift from nature is closer to a product rolling off an assembly line. And that industrial design is the reason it is so cheap. Here is a fact that sounds impossible. Over the last 30 years, almost every food in the supermarket has become more expensive. The banana has become cheaper. Adjusted for inflation, a banana costs less today than it did in the 1990s. It is one of the only foods on Earth that has quietly moved backward in price for decades. Why? Because a monoculture is ruthlessly efficient. One variety means one growing method, one harvest schedule, one shipping standard, repeated across the entire planet. A handful of giant companies with names like Chiquita and Dole and Del Monte built plantations, railways, and fleets of refrigerated ships to move this single fruit at enormous scale. The global banana trade is now worth close to $17 billion a year, and the Cavendish alone makes up about 99% of every banana exported. The banana is one of the most successful industrial products ever made. It just happens to be alive. And this system is not new. It was built more than 100 years ago. One company, the United Fruit Company, the ancestor of the modern Chiquita, grew so powerful moving this single fruit that it owned railways, telegraph lines, and its own fleet of ships, painted white to reflect the tropical heat. It helped install and topple governments across Central America. The phrase Banana Republic did not start as a clothing brand. It described real countries whose economies were run in effect by a fruit company. All of it, the ships, the plantations, the politics, existed to carry one sterile clone to your kitchen at the lowest possible price. But there is a trap hidden inside that success. To see it, you have to go back to the 1950s, because the Cavendish is not the first banana to rule the world. Before it, there was another. It was called the Gros Michel, or Big Mike. It was sweeter, it was sturdier, and for the first half of the 20th century, it was the banana. It was the one in the crates, the one in the songs, the one that built the fortunes of the fruit companies. And then it died. A fungus called Fusarium, spreading through the soil as a disease known as Panama disease, moved from plantation to plantation. Because every Gros Michel was a clone, they all shared the exact same weakness. If the fungus could kill one plant, it could kill all of them. There was no genetic variety to slow it down. No lucky plant that happened to survive. Whole plantations turned brown and collapsed. Within a couple of decades, the dominant banana on Earth was commercially finished. The industry survived by making a swap. The Cavendish had one saving feature. It resisted that particular strain of the fungus. So the companies tore out the old fruit, replanted with the new one, and the crisis passed. The world barely noticed. The banana on the shelf was still the same shade of yellow. Now, Here is why this is not just history. The same story is happening again, right now. In 1989, in Taiwan, a new strain of the fungus appeared. It is called Tropical Race 4, and this one kills the Cavendish. Since then, it has spread out of Southeast Asia into Australia, the Middle East, and Africa, and finally, in 2019, into Latin America, the heart of the export trade. There is no spray that stops it. Because the Cavendish is sterile, you cannot simply breed a resistant version the easy way. And because it is a monoculture, the same weakness sits inside every plant everywhere, exactly as it did with Big Mike. In early 2026, the Food and Agriculture Organization warned once more that the disease remains a major threat to plantations worldwide. We are watching the same movie a second time, and this time we already know the ending. There is one last twist, and it is the strangest of all. You may have heard that artificial banana flavor, the taste in banana candy, is really the flavor of the lost Gros Michel. It is a lovely story, a ghost flavor of an extinct fruit. It is also not true. Artificial banana flavor is a single chemical compound, and versions of it were being sold before Big Mike ever conquered the world. It was never modeled on any real banana at all. But notice why the myth refuses to die. People believe it because it feels correct. Deep down, we sense that the banana we eat is a hollow copy of something richer that we lost. And in a strange way, we are right. The banana is not a fruit that simply got worse. It is a product that was designed, standardized, and stretched to the breaking point, and it is now being taken apart by the very sameness that made it so cheap. So the next time you pick one up, remember what you are holding. Not quite a fruit, a sterile clone, the cheapest food on earth. An industrial machine wearing the skin of nature, dying the same death for the second time in a single century. The world really is stranger than you think.